So guys, you're supposed to include direct material and direct wages in the computation of overheads. After that, beta, you will take factory rent, allocate that in the ratio of area, guys. And power cost will be allocated in the ratio of horsepower multiplied by machine hours. This is the ratio, guys. You'll have to multiply them and then divide it in the ratio of that. Depreciation will be allocated in the ratio of capital value, and then other overheads, because machine hours are available, guys, it will be done on the basis of machine hours. Otherwise, beta, they would have been allocated on the basis of direct wages. If machine hours or labor hours ka information was not available, beta, we would have allocated it on the basis of direct wages. If the information is available, we allocate it on the basis of machine hours. Are we all clear about that point? Yes or no, guys? Next, beta. एक सेकेंड. सो सर्विस डिपार्टमेंट्स क्या है, नाम क्या है उनके? This A, B, C, X and Y, guys. Direct material, direct wages is 2,000, 1,000. This is 1,000, 2,000. Factory rent 4,000, guys. You must have allocated in the ratio of area. So that will be 1,000, 500, 1,000, 500 and 1,000. This is the allocation of factory rent. And then power cost beta 2,000, 500, 50, 80, 130, 210. 210, 15, 25, 250. 250 matlab wo beta. So this will be 500, 800, 800, 150 and 250. This will be the allocation of power cost. Depreciation 1,000 in the ratio of capital value. So 200, 400, 200, 100 and 100. Other overheads 9,000. Sum total is exactly 9,000. So yeah, 1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 1,000 and 1,000. This will be the allocation, guys, of other overheads. Alright, kids. A sum total of all of this, guys, would be, first one is 2,700, guys. Next 3,700. Ek second. 3,700 beta, 6,000. Next 4,700 and 4,750 and 5,350. After this, guys, you're going to allocate overheads on repeated redistribution method and transfer overheads better to the other divisions. What is the total amount after repeated redistribution? 8482, 6507, 7509. एक रुपये यहाँ वहाँ कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा, guys. This you have to divide by the number of machine hours, which is 1,000, 2,000 and 4,000. You're going to get rate per machine hour, which will be 8.482. Next 3.25 and next 87. This will be the overhead rate per hour, guys. Are we all clear about this? क्या अलग रेट है? Question number 1, guys. Yes, guys. Shanu has calculated predetermined overhead rate of 22 per machine hour for its quality check department. Predetermined overhead rate matlab budgeted rate per hour. It's always budgeted rate only, guys. Alright. This rate has been calculated for the budgeted level of activity and is considered as appropriate for absorbing overheads. The following overhead expenditures at various activity levels has been estimated. Total overheads, number of machine hours are given. You're required to calculate what will be the variable overhead rate per hour and what will be the estimated fixed cost. Calculate the budgeted level of activity in machine hours. Calculate the amount of under or over absorption of overheads if the actual machine hours are so much. State the arguments. State the arguments, guys, for and against using this amount. Are we clear? Total overheads, guys, have been given beta at different activity levels. The information is not for different departments. Meaning, if the number of machine hours are 14,500, overheads will be 3,38,875. If the number of machine hours are 15,500, overheads would be 3 lakh change, so on. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Yes or no, kids? Based on this, you will have to determine how much is variable, how much is fixed. As simple as that. Pragati, how do we? Sorry, beta. Knock, knock. Pragati, are you ready? Now, how much is variable, how much is fixed? देवांश पूछने वाला हूँ, नहीं तो कल आके मेरे को बोला था ना ऐसे सडन में नको पूछो बोल के. Yes, बेटा. This has nothing to do with what we have learned in this chapter. Everything to do with what we have learned on the first day of the class. Siri. Perfect answer, beta. Whenever total cost is given at different activity levels, guys, variable and fixed will be segregated by writing change in total cost divided by change in activity level. That is why the requirement is to compute variable cost per machine hour and fixed overheads. Otherwise, there is no reason, guys, for giving total cost at different activity levels. Are we understanding this? Now, if you look at the first cost beta, 14,500 machine hours, the total overheads are given there, 3,38,875. Next, 15,500. Total overheads are how much? 3,47,000. Whether it is 14,500 machine hours or whether it is 15,500 machine hours, guys, the amount of overheads in both of them, fixed overheads, will remain same. The amount of fixed overhead, guys, is not going to change. The only incremental expenditure from 14,000 to 15,500 will be on account of variable portion. How much is the change in total expenditure, guys? 8,000. That is on account of 1,000 machine hours. So 1,000 machine hours ka incremental activity is increasing your expenditure by 8,750 rupees. How much will be your variable rate per machine hour? Very good. Once you get this variable rate per machine hour, beta, you will remove this 8.75 per machine hour into 14,500 from 3,38,875. You will remove it, guys, from 3,38,875. How much is the answer? 2,12,000. This will become the amount of fixed overheads. That's the answer to the first two bits. Are we understanding this? Next, beta, calculate the budgeted level of activity in machine hours. वो बोल रहा है ठीक है तुम्हारे पास तीन डेटा है 14,500, 15,500, 16,500. But which among them is budgeted activity? या तीनों में से कोई भी नहीं रह सकता है. We do not know. You tell us what is the budgeted level of activity. For this, you will have to go by the first sentence of the question. Whatever is the budgeted activity level, at that your total overhead rate is how much? 22 rupees. So how do I compute budgeted level of activity? Tu bol beta, Raghav. Into machine hours. Very good. Can you tell me beta into machine hours करके कितना आंसर है? 3 lakh. So that is the total amount of overheads तू बोल रहा है. कौन से लेवल पे बेटा? ज़्यादा हीट हो जाता ना बेटा, ब्लास्ट हो जाता, उसकी लाइफ उतनी रहती है. वो लोग कंपनी वाले 10,000 घंटे बोलते हैं, 1,000 घंटे चलता है वो. शिवम आंसर क्या है बेटा? 16,000 मशीन आवर्स. कैसे क्या बेटा? फ्रॉम 22 रुपीज. Perfect. So from 22 rupees, guys, if you remove variable rate per hour, you will get fixed rate per hour. How much will be fixed rate per hour? See guys, total overhead rate per hour will keep changing depending on the activity level. जैसे if you compute total overhead rate per hour at this level, at this level मतलब first level, 3 lakh, don't worry guys, हो जा रहा solution, 10 मिनट में आता प्रोजेक्ट. 3,38,875 divided by 14,500 hours. कितना है बेटा? 3,38,875 divided by 14,500 machine hours. That is your total overhead rate per hour, provided the activity level is 14,500. वो 23.375 में how much is your variable portion? Variable rate per machine hour will never change. Are we clear? You remove that, remaining amount will be fixed. You compute your total rate per hour guys at 15,500 hours. What will be the answer? 22 point. You will write 3,47,625 divided by 15,500 hours. 22 point. Are we understanding this? वैसे ही बेटा we need some level at which the cost per hour is 22. We know variable per hour will remain constant guys. Fixed per hour will not remain constant. Total amount beta will remain constant. That is how you compute. And the answer कितना बोला तू exact? 16,000 machine hours. Are we clear guys? Now fourth bit. Calculate the amount of under or over absorption of overheads. If the actual machine hours were 14,970 and the actual amount of overheads were 3,22,000. So you will write 14,970 multiplied by 22 rupees per hour. Let's not forget that the budgeted rate beta is 22. Chalo beta, start writing the answer to the first bit. Answer to the first bit guys will be variable rate per hour. I know you cannot see the screen, but then I have explained it already. You will write variable rate per hour beta as change in overheads divided by change in machine hours. I repeat, variable rate per hour will be change in overheads divided by change in machine hours. Change in overheads के लिए बेटा you can pick up any two activity levels. There's no compulsion that you have to take only first and second. You will write 3,47,625 minus 3,38,875 divided by 15,500 minus 14,500 hours. 3,47,625 minus 3,38,875 divided by 15,500 minus 14,500. This will give us a rate per machine hour, guys. How much is that? 8.75. The rate per machine hour beta would be 8.75. $8.75. Next, how will you compute? सबको आ गया 8.75. You'll write change in overheads divided by change in machine hours. Next beta is to compute fixed. You will write first total overheads at some activity level. You can write total overheads at 14,500 hours beta is equal to 3,38,875. Total overheads at 14,500 hours will be 3,38,875 minus variable overheads would be 14,500 multiplied by 8.75. 14,500 multiplied by 8.75. 1,26,875 guys. You will get fixed overheads. 2,12,000. Total overheads at 14,500 hours, beta, will be 3,38,875 minus variable overheads. You will get fixed overheads as 2,12,000. Are we clear about this? Once you do this, beta, the answer to the third bit. First bit का answer is 8.75. Second bit का answer beta is 2,12,000. Proportionate नहीं बेटा. थर्ड बिट में ऐसे करेगा. At budgeted, क्या लेवल नहीं मालूम है. At budgeted level, overhead rate per hour कितना है? 22 rupees. कुछ भी कर लो, उसमें से वेरिएबल कितना रहेगा? वेरिएबल बेटा will be 8.75. So fixed कितना हो जाएगा? Balance will be fixed. You know total fixed cost, you know fixed cost per hour. You will get number of hours. Fixed overhead per hour कितना हो गया बेटा? 2 lakh, अरे per hour bit 22 minus 8.75, 13.25 will be equal to fixed overheads divided by number of hours. So 13.25 guys is equal to 2,12,000 divided by number of hours. You will get number of hours as how much? कितना बोले थे तुम लोग? ये budgeted activity level है guys. At the budgeted activity level guys, your fixed cost per hour is 16 rupees. Are we all clear about this? Yes or no बेटा? Share the answer in the group guys. Budgeted hours would be 16,000. Calculate the amount of under or over recovery. I've explained this in detail guys. You will have to absorb overheads at the rate of 22 rupees per hour now, because budgeted recovery rate is 22. You're going to multiply that by 14,970 hours. You will get total overheads absorbed. Compare that with 3,22,000. You will know what is the amount of under or over recovery of overheads. Are you all done with the amount of under or over recovery of overheads guys? कितना है बेटा? Under or over recovery of overheads के लिए you have to compare the amount of overheads absorbed. Overheads absorbed कितना हो जाएगा? 22 rupees per machine hour guys, multiplied by actual number of machine hours, 14,970. So that 22 per machine hour into 14,970 beta will be equal to 3,23,000, 3,29,340. But actual overheads guys are how much? 3,22,000. Did we absorb less or did we absorb more? We have absorbed more. So will this be a case of over recovery of overheads or under recovery? So over recovery of overheads guys will be equal to, how much is the amount beta? 7,340 rupees. Over recovery of overheads is 7,340 rupees. Overheads absorbed. Over recovery of overheads is 7,340 guys. State the arguments for and against using departmental rates as opposed to a single or blanket rate. I've given explanation for this the other day already guys. Departmental recovery rate is always better than blanket rate. Reason is that the cost allocation is more appropriate. But why is it more appropriate? The expenditure that is being incurred guys in different departments need not be the same. The expenditures can vary significantly. One department may have a recovery rate of only say 1 rupee per hour. Other department can have 10 rupees per hour. If I use blanket rate as such beta, I will end up allocating an average expenditure to all the products, which will be incorrect. That is why it is better to have departmental recovery rates. All right. Is everyone done with the fourth bit? Over recovery of overheads is 7,340 rupees. Now write down beta fifth bit ka answer. The amount of expenditure incurred, the amount of expenditure incurred in each department, the amount of expenditure incurred in each department can differ. The amount of expenditure incurred in each department can differ. In each department can differ. Can differ. The recovery rates, for example, can be. The recovery rates, for example, can be. The recovery rates, for example, can be 1 rupee for one department and 10 rupees for another department. Can be 1 rupee for one department and 10 rupees for another department. And 10 rupees for another department. 10 rupees for another department. The resource utilization. The resource utilization. The resource utilization can also vary. Resource utilization can also vary. Can also vary. If overheads are absorbed using a single rate, if overheads are absorbed using a single rate, if overheads are absorbed using a single rate, using a single rate, if overheads are absorbed using a single rate, the expenditure allocated, the expenditure allocated, the expenditure allocated would be incorrect. The expenditure allocated would be incorrect. Matters. The current policy of the company is very clear. They are absorbing all the overheads on the basis of blanket rate. Blanket rate में भी basis क्या है? As a percentage of factory wages, that is direct wages. Better. Overhead recovery rate is never computed for a specific job. Overhead recovery rate, guys, is always computed on the basis of the information of the entire organization. ये जो है ना, ये देखने की जरूरत नहीं है पहले. This is not relevant as of now. You will have to first compute how much is the overhead recovery rate. Will it be computed on the basis of budgeted data or on the basis of actual data? So as per the budget, guys, the total overheads of all the departments is 6,25,000. The total direct wages of all the departments that are 5 lakhs. So 6,25,000 divided by 5 lakhs. 1.25 or 125% of direct wages. That's your blanket recovery rate as of now. Once you do that, now you will have to come to the wages of job number 7083. The total direct material cost that we have incurred on job number 7083 is how much? 2,100. Total direct wages are how much? 660. Overheads that you will allocate, guys, to this job will be 125% of 660. Are we clear, guys? 125% of 660 कितना हो जाएगा? Now you will get total factory cost better. 35. इसको कितना ऐड करोगे तुम लोग? You're going to add 30% beta to arrive at the selling price of this job. And the selling price beta is 60.5. This will be the selling price of this job, guys. That's the answer to the first bit. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Any doubt in this, guys? Second bit बोलता है, use your brain and suggest an alternative recovery rate. Very good, guys. You're not going to absorb overheads on the basis of blanket rate. You will absorb overheads on the basis of departmental rate. That departmental rate also you will need a basis. What did we learn yesterday? Preferably machine hours or labor hours. Now tell me, for department machining, guys, which one will you take as the basis? For assembly, labor hours. For packing, machine hours. So diya hua hi nahi hai. This was the reason why I gave those examples yesterday, beta, so that it's easier to relate to this question. If you look at a machining department, it is machine intensive, guys. The number of machine hours are way more than the number of labor hours. If you look at assembly department, it is labor intensive. Packing में तो machining है ही नहीं, it is only labor. So you will compute separate overhead rate per hour guys for each of these departments, and then arrive at the overheads to be allocated based on the number of machine hours or labor hours given for these jobs. Same जैसे पहले करे, just that instead of calculating overheads beta directly on one basis, you'll have to calculate separately guys for each of these departments. Are we clear about this? Once that is done beta, job number 7083 भाड़ में गया. फिर आता है पूरे company related. Calculate department wise under or over recovery of overheads. This is not based on job number 7083. Now that is gone. We're computing it for the entire organization. How do you compute under or over recovery of overheads? You compare the amount of overheads absorbed with the amount of actual overheads. If you're absorbing more, that is over recovery. If you're absorbing less, that is... I'll do that part. Are we all clear about this? Chalo beta, let's start writing. पूरे नहीं बेटा, there's only one method that you will recommend, and that is machine hours, labor hours. Over. पांच method, पांच answer. पागल हो गई क्या? कल करे थे because the question never asked for your suggestion. The question says whatever methods that you know, do it. यहाँ पे the question is asking for your suggestion. You will not be like I'm suggesting 5 things because I do not know which one is correct. तू रख पूरे 5, तू decide कर ले क्या correct है बोल के. Question number 23 guys, you will write existing policy. Overhead absorption guys. Blanket rate on the basis of direct wages. On the basis of direct wages. Absorption rate is always based on budgeted data. So what will be your overhead absorption rate per hour? Sorry, overhead absorption rate guys. You will write budgeted overheads divided by budgeted direct wages. Budgeted overheads guys of all the departments, 3,60,000, 1,40,000 and 1,25,000 divided by, वो अलग लिख रहा हूँ ताकि बाद में confusion ना हो, 80 plus 3,50,000 plus 70,000. I said whenever we compute it on rupees, you instead of writing 1.25, I'll write 125% of direct wages. This will be our overhead recovery rate under the existing policy of the company. समझ में आया बच्चों? Based on this, first bit says you should also compute the job number 7083 का बेटा selling price. क्या और आ गया? Job number 7083 guys, based on existing policy, can you tell me what's the total amount of direct material for it? Department wise लेके फायदा नहीं है बेटा. Direct material you have to simply add all of them, so it will be 1200 plus 600 plus 300 and that is 2100. Direct wages also guys, you don't need department wise, you will write 240 plus 360 plus 60, 660. Factory overheads, we have just learned that they are absorbed on the basis of direct wages, so it will be 125% of direct wages. 660 ka 125% beta, and that will be 825. By doing this, you will arrive at the total factory cost of the product. 35 to this 3585, you're going to add 30%. This 30% will cover all the other expenses and profit. So the selling price that you're going to quote for job number 7083 is 4,660.5. Second bit. Is everyone done? बोले तो बोलना था. एक सेकंड बेटा, चुड़ैल लिख रही है. हो गया बेटा? हाँ. Second bit, guys. Instead of blanket rate, overheads should be absorbed on the basis of overheads should be absorbed on the basis of departmental rates. Overhead should be absorbed on the basis of departmental rate. Also, the basis of apportionment should be machine hours or labor hours. The basis of apportionment should be machine hours or labor hours. Basis of apportionment should be machine hours or labor hours. Machining department being machine intensive. Machining department beta being machine intensive. Overhead should be absorbed on the basis of machining department beta. क्या लिखे? Being machine intensive, overhead should be absorbed on the basis of machine hours. Next, packing and assembly are labor intensive. Packing and assembly are labor intensive. And hence overheads will be absorbed on the basis of labor hours. Are labor intensive, and hence overheads will be absorbed on the basis of labor hours. Overheads will be absorbed on the basis of labor hours. On the basis of labor hours. Are we clear, guys? Now, overhead rate per hour. Remember, guys, doesn't matter whether it is blanket or departmental rate, you still have to compute overhead recovery rate only on the basis of budgeted data. So tell me how much are the budgeted overheads for machining department? 3,60,000. अब जब मैं budgeted activity लिखूंगा बेटा यहाँ पे, should I write number of machine hours or should I write number of labor hours? Machine hours. You will write 80,000 machine hours. We just wrote a conclusion that they will be absorbed on the basis of machine hours. But for the other two departments, guys, you're going to write labor hours. 1,40,000 and 1,25,000. This will be 1 lakh labor hours, and the other one beta is 50,000 labor hours. Write the overhead rate per hour. Overhead rate per hour. 3,60,000 divided by 80,000 beta 4.5 per machine hour. 1,40,000 by 1 lakh is 1.4 per labor hour. And last wala beta is 2.5 per labor hour. This will be the overhead recovery rates, guys, departmental ke basis pe. Now using these rates, guys, you're going to arrive at selling price of job number 7083. That will be the answer to the third bit. These are the methods recommended by you. All of you compute the selling price of job number 7083, guys. Third bit, guys, you have to arrive at the selling price of job number 7083. Shashank, are you done with the selling price of job number 7083? Direct material, guys, will be same that you've written in first bit. That is how much? 2,000. Direct wages are also going to remain same, guys, and that is 660. It is only the amount of overheads beta allocation that will change. We already know guys what is the amount of overheads that we are incurring. पहले तो बेटा यहाँ पे कहाँ है ये? हाँ. For machining department guys, will you pick up machine hours or labor hours? You will pick up machine hours. 180 machine hours, multiply that by how much? 4.5 per machine hour. 810. For assembly department guys, you're going to pick up labor hours. 120 labor hours is what you have spent on it, into 1.4 per labor hour. 168. And then packing department guys, you will write again 40 labor hours multiplied by, this will be 100 rupees. The total factory cost of the product beta would become 3,830. 3838. To this guys you will add 30%. Selling price beta will become 4989.4 guys. The selling price of the product will become 4989.4. Are we all clear? हो गया Tanisha? 4989.4 beta is the selling price of this product. शशांक समझ में आ गया अभी? शिवम हो गया? Now the next bit guys, fourth bit, they're asking us to compute department wise and overall under or over recovery of overheads guys based on both existing policy as well as the method that you have suggested. Once overhead recovery rate is computed, but budgeted data is useless after that. Yes or no? Budgeted data will not be relevant once you have arrived at overhead recovery rate. Now, as far as the existing policy is concerned, सुन लो बेटा, existing policy के हिसाब से, you know that the overhead rate guys is 125% of direct wages. What is the amount of direct wages that we have guys? जरा job wise नहीं करना है बेटा, department wise करोगे क्या? job wise tell me guys, what are the amount of actual direct, will you absorb overheads on the basis of budgeted direct wages or actual direct wages? एक बार recovery rate आ गया है, भाड़ में गया budgeted details. Are we clear about this? What are the actual direct wages of machining department? 96,000, 2,70,000 and 90,000. What do you think will be the overheads absorbed guys? 125% of these direct wages. 96,000 into 125%. 1,20,000. 2,70,000 guys into 125%. 337,500. 90,000 ka 125%. These are the amount of overheads that you're going to absorb in each of these divisions. Correct? How much are your actual overheads incurred? To compute under or over recovery, you will always compare that with actual overheads. How much is the amount of actual overheads incurred? 3,90,000, 84,000. Under recovery अगर है तो minus लिख रहा हूँ बेटा brackets में, over recovery है तो positive. In the first division guys, you have incurred 3,90,000, but we have absorbed only 1,20,000. Is that under recovery or over recovery? Under recovery, and only 2,70,000 only. In the second division guys, we've incurred only 84, but we have absorbed how much? 3,37,500. Is that over recovery or under recovery? Over recovery. Kitna? 53. Last वाले में बेटा there's an under recovery of 20. तीनों टोटल करो बेटा. किसका टोटल बोल रहे? फर्स्ट कॉलम का ओवरहेड्स अब्सॉर्ब्ड 5,70,000 है ये. वो लास्ट वाले का टोटल ऐसे ना करो, एक नेगेटिव एक पॉजिटिव है. 5 लाख किसका लास्ट वाला? नेगेटिव 39,039. So this will be 6,09,000. ये 570 है तो ये 6 लाइन ना, This is, guys, existing policy. Like this, I will have to calculate once more. Under which method? Method that we have suggested them. उसमें overheads will be absorbed separately for each department, guys. Same table बनाएंगे, लेकिन actual activity में first machining department I will write total machine hours. For labor and assembly and packing I will write total labor hours. And you know rate per hour you will multiply and write overheads absorbed. समझ में आ रहा है? Departmental rate के basis पे बेटा. Mental rate. Machining department, guys. What will be the amount of overheads absorbed? Can you pick up the actual machine hours? How many machine hours beta actually? 96,000 machine hours. किससे multiply करूँ? 4.5. कितना हो जाएगा? 4,32,000. Assembly department में should I pick up machine hours or labor hours? Labor hours. 90,000 labor hours to be multiplied by 1.4. 1,26,000. Packing department, guys, again labor hours. 60,000 labor hours multiplied by 2.5 beta. 1,50,000. Overheads incurred कितना है? 3,90,000, 84,000 and under or over recovery. In all the three cases we have over recovery. First case में that is 42,000. Next case 42,000. Next 15,000. All put together 99,000. This is still better, guys, because there's no drastic under or over recovery department wise. Under blanket rate, if you look at department wise as such, there's huge amount of under recovery or over recovery. So this will be a better alternative. You have to arrive at the amount of rate, guys, for machine hours separately and for computer charges separately. The total number of hours for which the machine was used is 3,500. With or without the computer does not matter. Machine is being used for 3,500 hours, beta, and then computer is being used for 2,000 hours. So there are two basic rates that you're going to compute. What is the rate of using the machine on a per hour basis, and then what is the rate of using the computer beta on a per hour basis. If you talk about the common expenses that we are incurring, there is rent 17,500. These details are per नीचे वाला per month है. So can you tell me what is the total common expenditure beta that is excluding computer charges per month? This 35,000 should be divided by 3,500 hours, which will be 10 rupees per hour. This is the cost of using only machine on a per hour basis. How much is a computer charge per month? वो भी 35 है. That 35,000 you will divide by 2,000 hours. 2,000 hours beta are the number of hours for which the computer was used. So 35,000 divided by 2,000, guys, will be 17.5. So if you're using computer with the machine, the total cost per hour would be 27.5. If you're not using the computer, you're using only the machine, the cost is going to be 10 rupees per hour. These are the two rates that you will need. If you're only using machine without the computer, कितना आएगा बेटा expenses? 10 rupees per hour. If you're using computer, guys, as well as the machine, then the cost would be 27.5. Understood what I just did? तो क्या करना है बेटा? We have to compute both of them separately. सबको आंसर अलग है? सेम ही है? तेरा डाउट क्लियर हुआ? वो मैं 6 alternatives नहीं बेटा. We will have to again compute individually. Question made it very clear that you're supposed to compute two rates बेटा. वो नीचे देखो वहाँ पे it says find out machine hour rate when the computer was used, when the computer was not used. It's very clear that you're supposed to arrive at two different rates. Yes or no? एक सेकंड बेटा, ये पेंसिल काम नहीं कर रही. Online students बेटा, 1 minute. You can write the information, guys. एक काम करो, मैं डिक्टेट करता हूँ. लिखो the total number of hours. जिसका हो गया छोड़ दो बाकी के लोग. The total number of hours. The total number of hours for which the computer was used, total number of hours for which the computer was used, total number of hours for which the computer was used, are 2000 hours, are 2000, are 2000. Next, total machine hours, total machine hours, total machine hours, total machine hours are 3500, 3500. All the expenses related to machine, all the expenses related to machine, all the expenses related to machine will be absorbed, all the expenses related to machine will be absorbed on the basis of 3500 hours, on the basis of 3500 hours. All the expenses related to machine will be absorbed on the basis of 3500 hours, while computer charges will be absorbed, while computer charges will be absorbed on the basis of, computer charges will be absorbed on the basis of, on the basis of 2000 hours. Computer charges will be absorbed on the basis of 2000 hours, on the basis of 2000 hours. ये समझ में आता है कभी? No guys, there are no direct expenses here. Online students have a doubt that there are machine specific expenses. Shouldn't they be direct expenses? Guys, all of these are expenses related to machine, but then these expenses are commonly being incurred, guys, for different categories of jobs. So obviously they're not direct expenses. They will all come under overheads. If they're direct expenses, better than the, it wouldn't have been included here only. So तुम्हारे machine rate per hour कितना है? I'm assuming that you must have written those common expenses details. Machine rate per hour beta is 35,000 divided by 3500 hours, and that will be 10 rupees per hour. Remember, this is the cost of using only machine. And then beta computer charges per hour would be 35,000 divided by how many hours? 2000 hours, and that will be 17.5 per hour. So when you arrive at machine hour rate, guys, without computer, MHR is machine hour rate, without computer, कितना हो जाएगा आंसर? Only 10 rupees. With the computer, guys, it will be 27.5. You will have to take that 10 and add 17.5. 27.5. This will be the answer to the first bit. Violence, beta. Yes, guys. Now, beta, for the second bit, individual jobs, can you tell me, guys, how much is the total charges that will be allocated? 600 hours into 10 rupees. 400 hours into 27.5. कितना हो गया बेटा total cost? 6,000 and 11,000. Total 17,000. For job B, beta, it will be 900 hours multiplied by 10 rupees. That will be 9,000. 600 hours multiplied by 27.5. 16,000. दोनों का total 25,500. Last वाले में करके फायदा नहीं है because it is only with computer. So obviously the machine hour rate beta will remain at 27.5. You divide this, guys, by the total number of hours to arrive at machine hour rate job wise. So 17,000 को किससे divide करोगे? 1000 hours, and that beta would be 17 rupees. Next 25,500 will be divided by 1500 hours. That's another 17. Last one beta obviously would be 27.5. This will be the machine hour rate, guys, job wise. हाँ वो फर्स्ट बिट हो गया है बेटा. सेकेंड बिट में इंडिविजुअल जॉब्स के लिए ये सेकेंड बिट है. तो फिर 10 रुपीज एंड 27.5 रहेगा ना. फिर कंप्यूट क्यों करना है? अलग अलग लिखना ही था. तो मशीन आर रेट विल बी 10 and 27.5 ओनली. नो, दैट इज नॉट गोइंग टू चेंज. समझ में आ गया ये? कौन से क्वेश्चन? नेक्स्ट starting with a comprehensive machine hour rate. Whatever we have done so far, guys, was computing overhead absorption rate for different departments separately. Yes or no? Now, when you're computing overhead absorption rate, guys, for different departments, there's only one rate that represents the entire department. It may be possible that under a department you can have machines of different capacities, and the cost that you're incurring, guys, to operate each machine can be significantly different. Yes or no? There can be a machine, guys, which requires a higher power consumption. There can be a machine that requires a lower power consumption. You cannot have the same absorption rate for both the machines. This is where, guys, we have the concept of comprehensive machine hour rate. Comprehensive machine hour rate literally covers all the expenses that an organization is incurring in relation to operating a machine. It will include expenses that are directly related to the machine, whether they are fixed charges, whether they are variable charges, does not matter. Plus, they also include a share of all the common expenses that the organization is incurring. Okay? All the expenses related to, matlab, including the amount of operator wages who's engaged in operating the machine. Usually, beta, those expenses are direct expenses and they're directly included in the cost of the prime cost of the product. But when you say comprehensive machine hour rate, we are computing effective cost of running a machine for an hour. Now, when you say effective cost of running a machine for an hour, it should obviously include even the operator who is working on it. So, if you take comprehensive machine hour rate, then you will not obviously allocate operator wages separately. Why? Obviously included as a part of this machine hour rate. समझ में आ रहा है? What is the intent here? For better allocation of cost, it is better to have a separate rate for each machine. Or guys, even if you have a cluster of machines that have similar capacities, then you might compute, guys, machine hour rate commonly for those machines. But agar machining ke capacities alag hai, power consumption alag hai, then there's obviously a need, guys, to compute these rates separately and not collectively, guys, for those machines. Are we clear about this? Itna hi beta aur kuch nahi. Usually when we present a statement, guys, for comprehensive machine hour rate, we divide the expenses into two categories called as standing charges and running charges. Another name, guys, for fixed expenses and variable expenses. But whenever you present a cost statement for a machine, or आगे जाके देखेंगे there's some transportation sector, beta, we write like this. ठीक है बेटा ईशा? We write the expenses, beta, as standing and running. The literal meaning of the word standing charge, beta, is even if you are not using the machine is just standing there, even then you're going to incur these expenses, meaning they are fixed in nature. Running expenses are, on the other hand, guys, expenses that you will incur only when the machine is in usage. Is that clear, beta Laksh? Do you want to go out and come? So running expenses, guys, are the expenses that will be incurred only when the machine is. ये किसके लिए आएगा? ये comprehensive machine hour rate के लिए. You will preferably divide the overall expenses into these categories. Are we clear? Question number 29 बेटा 15. अभी थोड़ा order में जाएंगे ना. बीच में बहुत छोड़ दिया था मैं. ठीक है? Question number 15, guys. X Limited has 15 different types of automatic machines. Furnishes information for the year 1996 to 97. Overhead expenses are factory rent 96,000. The total floor area is 80,000 square feet. Heat and gas 45,000, supervision 1,20,000. Wages of the operator, guys, are 48 rupees per day of 8 hours. He attends to one machine when it is under setup and two machines while they are under operation. Now, one important thing, guys, whenever you compute machine hour rate, you're supposed to divide it by the number of productive hours. So they will tell us that in a year there are about, let's say, 2,500 hours. जिसमें से 200 hours of a maintenance. ये जो maintenance का time जो रहता है बेटा, that is considered to be a normal loss. Obviously you will have to, incur certain expenditure, guys, on maintenance. That does not mean you allocate expenses to those 200 hours. समझ में आ रहा है? Our productive hours will only be 2,300 in the example that I just gave. 2,500 hours is the total number of hours available, जिसमें से 200 hours बेटा are maintenance. If you own a vehicle, guys, let's say in a month out of 30 days you're using it for 29 days, एक दिन बेटा maintenance में जा रहा है vehicle का. That one day's expenditure that you're incurring on maintenance is such better. If you would want to know the effective cost of using the vehicle, shouldn't you allocate that over the remaining 29 days? You will not compute the cost of maintenance one day separately, but and the cost of remaining 29 days separately. Are we clear about this? In few questions, they might tell us better that setup is unproductive. Setup is basically the time that is required, guys, to make changes to the machine before you manufacture a product. When you're shifting from one product line to another product line as such, beta, there are various components that might have to be changed. So all of that beta will come under setup. So if the question says setup is non-productive, even that should be eliminated as such beta, and you will take. जैसे अगर ये 2,300 में से रुतविक कहीं जाना है देखो, solve कर ले. I will wait. Finish off. So if they say beta that setup is non-productive, guys, you will remove that setup also. Let's say out of this 2,300 hours beta, 100 hours is setup time and बाकी का 2,200 hours is going to be your running time. So now the productive hours will only be. That does not mean setup cost will not be allocated. ये जो setup का भी खर्चा है, that will automatically get included in the remaining 2,200 hours. If nothing is given, you will assume setup is productive. So you will have to compute machine hour rate on the basis of 2,300 hours in my example. Are we clear? Though there is a possibility we may have a separate rate for setup, separate rate for running. Why? अब जैसे यहाँ पे देखो बेटा, second point, it says operator wages are 48 per day of 8 hours. This भाई साहब can attend to only one machine when the machine is under setup, while when the machine is under operation, guys, he can attend to, we are paying him 48 divided by 8, 6 rupees per hour. When the machine is under setup, the entire 6 rupees is to be allocated only to one machine. But when the machine is under operation, this 6 rupees will further be divided on the basis of two machines. That means the cost of each machine will only be, isn't your cost of setup separate and cost of operation separate, guys? समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? So you may have a separate rate for setup, and this is the only question in which they have a separate rate, guys, for setup and operation. And how do we know? is नीचे दिया हुआ है, वो सबके लिए अलग अलग mention कर रहा है, इतना setup इतना operation. He's expecting you to compute a separate rate for that setup time and operation time. Are we clear about this? Yes or no? So operator wages पढ़ा चुका हूँ बेटा. In respect of machine B, one of the above machines, the following particulars are furnished. Cost of machine is 45,000, life is 10 years. Scrap value at the end of the life is 5,000. Why do you think these details are given? Smart guys. Depreciation, 45,000 minus 5,000 divided by 10 years. Depreciation will be 4,000 rupees. Annual expenses on special equipment attached to the machine are estimated as 3,000. Isn't this a expenditure directly related to using the machine, guys? This will be included in your comprehensive machine hour rate. Estimated operation time of the machine is 3,600 hours, while setup time is 400 hours. So the total number of hours in a year, guys, are 4,000, which includes a setup time of 400 hours, running time of 3,600 hours. Unless otherwise given, those 400 hours are also productive. Are we clear? The machine occupies 5,000 square feet of floor area. ऊपर जो factory rent दिया हुआ है बेटा, that has to be allocated among all the machines. So this machine का share बेटा would be on the basis of this 5,000 SFT. 96,000 multiplied by 5,000 SFT divided by 80,000 SFT. 6,000. Power is costing 2 rupees per hour while the machine is in operation. Which means you will not incur this expenditure during setup. You will include this expenditure, guys, only for those 3,600 hours. It will not be included guys for the remaining hours. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है बेटा? Find out the comprehensive machine hour rate of machine B. Also find out the machine cost to be absorbed in respect of machine B on the following two work orders. We're going to compute a separate rate for setup. We're going to compute a setup rate guys for operation. Are we clear? Question number 15. Operator wages and power cost differ for setup and operation time. Operator wages and power cost differ for setup and operation time. Hence, separate rate will be computed. Separate rate will be computed for setup time and operation time. For setup time and operation time. Setup time and operation time. ये जो बाकी पूरे expenses है बेटा, other than operator wages and power costs, we are going to divide that by how many hours? 4,000 hours. Total productive time in a year is 4,000 guys. So all the other expenses you're going to divide by 4,000 hours other than power and operator. ये अलग से compute करेंगे. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Write down बेटा next. Total productive time in a year is 4,000 hours. Total productive time in a year is 4,000 hours. Productive time in a year is 4,000 hours. Hence all the expenses will be allocated. All the expenses will be allocated on the basis of 4,000 hours. On the basis of 4,000 hours. ठीक है? तू प्रथम बोल बेटा. How will you allocate heat and gas and supervision? Factory rent तो अपन अभी decide कर लिया. You tell me about heat and gas and supervision. इस मशीन ऑपरेशन टाइम कहाँ से एलोकेट करते हैं बेटा तुम लोग? मशीन ऑपरेशन एक का है, अपन को पूरे मशीन में डिवाइड करना है. आई कैन नॉट इंक्लूड द एंटायर 45,000 और 1,20,000 इन द कॉस्ट स्टेटमेंट गाइस. कैन आई? These expenses, point number 1, are they only for one machine or are they for the entire department? You just told me that the share of factory rent is 6,000. Did you not allocate that factory rent to this machine guys? Likewise, I will have to allocate heat and gas and supervision. How do I allocate that? तेरा नाम क्या है? प्रथम है. लगता तेरा कुछ रिश्ता क्या कहला कुछ लगता? अरे एक जल्दी बोल बे. एटलीस्ट वो जो बोला वो तो सुन के बोल. It will be divided on the basis of 15 machines guys. There's no other allocation base that is available. Supervision undoubtedly guys, that is on the basis of number of machines or number of employees. Did I tell you this before? The only thing that is left is heat and gas. It cannot be on the basis of number of hours क्योंकि power cost अलग से दिया हुआ है. So this has to be the common expenditure. That is directly divided by number of machines. अभी clear? सुनो बेटा बाद में कॉपी करना एक बार. First question of comprehensive machine. We will have to first write a list of all the common expenses guys. I just told you that except operator wages and power cost, everything else as such guys will be common. Are we clear about this? Srinivas, start beta with all the expenses. Factory, हाँ, कितना? Factory rent, but I told you that it will be apportioned on the basis of floor area. So that will be 96,000 rupees, guys, into 5,000 square feet divided by 80,000 square feet. The total amount beta will be, next beta, heat and gas. हाँ बोल. 45,000 beta divided by 15 machines, and that beta will become 3,000. Next, super. How much is the total amount beta? 1,20,000 divided by 15 machines. This amount beta will become 8,000. Next, Oregarda. Common expenses beta. Depreciation. Guys, operator wages and power cost नको लो बोला ना बेटा मैं. 45,000 beta minus 5,000 divided by 10 years. कितना है? This will be the amount of operator wages. After that beta, अरे ऑर्डर में पढ़ने में कुछ प्रॉब्लम है तुम लोग को? क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट पॉइंट के बाद सेकंड पॉइंट देख. तेरे को मारना आता बेटा? आता ना? स्पेशल इक्विपमेंट एनुअल. हाँ, ये पूरे एनुअल ही अपन जो लिख रहे हैं. एनुअल स्पेशल इक्विपमेंट गाइस, हाउ मच इज दैट? 3,000. एनी अदर एक्सपेंडिचर गाइस? हो गया ना सब कुछ? यहां तक का टोटल कितना है बेटा? 24,000. These are the total expenses that we are incurring as such, guys. What are the number of productive hours? The total number of productive hours, guys, are 4,000. What will be your common expenditure per hour? 6 rupees. Common expenditure per hour beta would be this 24,000 rupees will get divided beta by 4,000 hours. That is 6 rupees per hour. Now, as I told you beta, because the expenditure is different, we're going to compute a separate rate for setup and operation. Our common expenses per hour, guys, अभी कितना आया था यहाँ पे? 6 rupees. To this common expenses, guys, is supposed to add operator wages. When the machine is under setup, it is 6 rupees divided by 1 machine. मैं अभी per hour ही लिख रहा हूँ 6. But when the machine is under operation, this operator 6 rupees but is handling how many machines? From where did we get this 6 rupees? ये कॉमन एक्सपेंडिचर ये वाला सेम नहीं है, ठीक है बेटा? यहाँ पे लिखता होगा 48 rupees divided by 8 hours. That is that 6 rupees, not the same 6 rupees that we are writing above. इसके बाद में बेटा power cost. How much is your power cost? Only under. So when the machine is under setup, guys, it is effectively costing us 12 rupees per hour. When the machine is under operation, it is effectively costing us 11 rupees per hour. समझ में आया नहीं आया? Now guys, just for our understanding, our total common expenses कितने थे? 24,000 rupees. Power cost total बेटा पूरे साल का 3,600 hours into 2 rupees. Wages beta of the operator 400 hours I will multiply by 6 rupees. 3,600 hours I'll multiply by 3 rupees. हाँ या ना guys? This will be 2,400. This will be 10,800. All total beta, sum total of all of this 13,000. अरे गधे ऊपर का भी मिला. If a single rate was computed beta, if single rate was computed, what will I do? ये कोई जरूरत नहीं है यहाँ पे, बस बोल रहा हूँ. The answer beta would have been 44,400 rupees directly divided by how much will that be? We will not absorb separately for setup. We will not absorb separately for operation. It would be 11.1. But it is nothing but an average of that 12 and 11 only, guys. We are incurring 12 rupees for 400 hours. We are incurring 11 rupees for 3,600 hours. If you take weighted average of 12 and 11, taking 400 hours and 3,600 hours, you will come back to 11.1 only. कुछ भी कर लो बेटा, वही आंसर रहता. चेक कर लिए ना, आया ना सेम? Yes, beta, correct. If they ask us to compute a single rate, then the rate would be 11.1. They've asked us to allocate wages, guys. वो नीचे दिख रहा है job number, work order number 31 and 32, guys. So what will be the cost that will be allocated to work order number 31? What will be the cost beta that will be allocated to work order number 32, guys? 31 and 32. Setup cost कितना रहेगा? It will be 10 hours beta multiplied by 12. And here beta 20 hours beta into 12, that is 240. Operation time के लिए beta what will be the cost that will be allocated? 90 hours multiplied by 11 rupees, that is 990, guys, and this will be 180 hours multiplied by 11 rupees, and that will be 1980. How much will be the sum total beta here? 1110 and 2220. 1110 and 2220. It says a machine shop cost center contains 3 machines of equal capacities. To operate these 3 machines, 9 operators are required. That is 3 operators on each machine. Question is very clear, beta. 3 people have to work collectively on one machine, and if you look at the last sentence of the question, it says calculate the cost of running one machine. That means you're supposed to present cost statement, guys, for one 4-week period and one machine only. Any annual expenditure will be divided by 13. Why 13? There are 13 4-weekly periods in a year. That is why beta you'll have to divide by 13. If any expenditure is given per week, you simply multiply that by 4 weeks. So operators are paid 20 rupees per hour. Do you think all the 9 operators collectively will be paid 20 rupees per hour, guys, or one operator will be paid 20 rupees per hour? Very good, guys. So in relation to one machine, there will be 3 operators. 3 multiplied by 20, 60 rupees hoga. Next, the factory works for 48 hours in a week, which includes 4 hours of setup time. So running time is 44 hours, guys. And when you compute number of machine hours, beta, do not multiply by 3. Because you're computing machine hours only for, even if 3 operators are working on one machine as such, guys, the machine is running only for 1 hour. It cannot be 3 hours. Are we clear about this? The work is jointly done by operators. Operators are paid fully for the 48 hours. In addition, they are paid a bonus of 10% of productive time. सबसे important यहाँ पे बेटा एक productive time. They are indirectly telling us that setup is unproductive. Otherwise, there was no need for them to use the word productive time. सबसे important part of this question is only and only this sentence. Underline the word productive. This is why, guys, I know ये पूरे questions में एक sentence रहता है, इसलिए तुम्हारे को बोल रहा हूँ पढ़ो पढ़ो बोल के पहले question, ताकि you have to figure that out. कुछ नहीं है, समझ में आया नहीं आया, guys? What is the significance of this, beta? Productive time. Setup time will now be considered as unproductive. Totally. That means you will not even consider it, beta, in the number of hours. You will take 44 hours multiplied by 4 weeks. हो गया. That itself, beta, will be your total number of productive machine hours. Next, costs are reported for this company on the basis of 13 4-weekly period. Are we clear? The company, for the purpose of computing machine hour rate, includes the direct wages of the operator. Obviously, but if this sentence is not given also, don't you include operator wages and comprehensive machine hour rate? And also recoups factory overheads allocated to the machines. So it will include all the share of other common expenses. Everything will be included. The following details of factory overheads applicable to the cost center are available. Depreciation, guys, is ये applicable to क्या है? Cost center. Underline the word cost center, beta. मतलब अगर there are any expenses, guys, and the cost center comprises of how many machines? So you may have to divide common expenses given, guys, by 3 to arrive at cost per machine. Depreciation is 10% per annum on original cost of the machine. Original cost of each machine is 52,000. This is already per machine. You do not have to divide by 3. This will be depreciation, beta, 5,200. But we want to compute cost for only one 4-week period. So this 5,200 also have to divide by 13. I will get cost for one 4-week period and one machine. Maintenance and repairs per week per machine है already. per machine hai, we just have to multiply by 4 weeks. Consumable stores beta, again per week per machine. Power, huh? Power cost as such guys is given as 20 units per hour at the rate of 80 paise per unit. Apportionment to the cost center, rent. ये apportionment to cost center है. What will you do with all of these expenses? Divide by 3 machines. And plus if any expenditure is per annum beta, you have to divide by 13. अरवी क्या बोलते हैं? Add a sentence beta after power cost. No power during setup. ये ऐसे study material में भी add हो चुका है. मैं add नहीं करा but अभी. No power during setup. Are we clear? वो पहले sentence नहीं था guys, but then they used to take power cost only for 44 hours in a week and not 48 hours, and people objected. Where is it given in the question that you are not consuming any power during setup? You're telling us setup is unproductive. That does not mean setup will not require any power. There should still be power that is consumed because nothing is specified. By default, if nothing is given, beta, you will incur power for all the hours. Only if it is specifically given in the question, then we will have to assume otherwise. So that is why they added the sentence only. They didn't want to change the answer. So let's change the question which fits the answer. So that is why they added the sentence, no power beta during setup. Kaam khatam. Now, you know better that you'll have to compute expenses. Cost statement guys of one machine. Are we clear about that? Likho beta wo bhi. Requirement is to compute cost statement only for one machine. Requirement is to compute cost of only one machine. Cost of only one machine. One machine for 4 weeks only. For 4 weeks only. Cost of one machine for 4 weeks only. उसके नीचे ये देखो बेटा. How much will be operator wages in respect of one machine? In respect of one machine, 60 per hour नहीं, पहले पूरा लिखता हूँ, लास्ट में डिवाइड करना है ना वो. So I will write guys 48 hours per week into how many weeks? 4 weeks into how many operators? 3 operators into what is the wage rate per hour? 20 rupees per hour. कितना हो जाएगा बेटा? 11,000. But when it comes to bonus beta, how will I do it? Should I write 11,520 into 10%? अगर वो bonus सिर्फ 10% बोल के छोड़ देता था, then you would have taken 10% of 11,520. But in that case beta, even setup would have been productive time only. But here you will write guys 44 hours per week into 4 weeks into 3 operators into 20 rupees per hour. Uska 10%. How much will that be guys? 10. This will be the amount of bonus beta. Amount of bonus guys is 1056. ये लिख लो बस हो गया अभी. After this directly cost statement. Productive hours भी लिख लेना. Productive hours beta would be 44 hours per week into 4 weeks. 176 hours. So whatever is the final answer guys, you're going to divide by 176. बोल क्या डाउट है? Productive hours beta is 44 multiplied by 4. Can you start presenting the cost statement guys? What will come under running charges beta? Anything related to machine repairs and maintenance, power consumption, operator wages. यहाँ पे क्या है अभी बोलो? Consumable stores, maintenance and repairs, power cost and operator wages including bonus. These are the things that will come under running charges. Everything else you will put it under standing charges. cost statement, guys. Standing charges and running charges. To make it niche likhna, I'm just writing like this so that there's no confusion. In a year, guys, the question says there are 13 4-weekly periods. So whatever expenses are given beta per annum, you have to divide by 13 so that you get expenditure in respect of 1 4-week period. And if the expenditure relates to the entire cost center, it means it is in respect of 3 machines. So you'll have to again divide by 3. Or a gardalu. Ante yes. ఎందుకు మాట్లాడుతున్నారు మధ్యలో వైష్ణవి? ఐఎమ్ एक्सप्लेनिंग समथिंग नो. इनको डांटे तो हंसते पे ये लोग. ओ हमको ही बोल रहा क्या काटता बोल के. Yes guys, first beta depreciation you will put it under अरे wages beta ऊपर compute कर ली. How much was the wages guys? दोनों मिला के 12576. This includes the amount of bonus beta. Depreciation I will put it under standing charges. Depreciation guys you will not divide by 3 because cost is per machine. बच्चों का ये भी डाउट था सर, why are we not dividing by 3 machines बोल के. कॉस्ट अगर एक मशीन का है बेटा, डेप्रीसिएशन कितने मशीन्स का हुआ? Proud of you guys. This is 5200 per annum, but we want for what beta? For 4 weeks. So you'll have to write 5200 divided by how much? 13. How much will that be beta? Exact. 400 is the amount of depreciation. Maintenance and repairs beta, where will you put it? Under running charges. Maintenance and repairs guys is 60 rupees per week. So into 4 beta, this will become 240. Consumable stores. Consumable stores beta is 75 per week multiplied by 4. This will become 300. Next beta, power cost. Power beta will be 20 units multiplied by 0.8 into how many hours? 176. Power is not consumed for setup, that is why we are not multiplying by 192. Otherwise you would have multiplied by 192. How much will this be? 28. This is the power cost beta. Apportionment to the cost center, because the expenses are for the cost center, that means they are for 3 machines. So all of these expenses beta you're going to divide by 5400 divided by 3 machines divided by how many periods? 13. So how much will this be beta? 138 point. Next guys, heat and light, same way guys. 9720 divided by 3 divided by 13. कितना हो गया? 0.23. Next beta, foreman's salary. Foreman's salary guys would be 12,960 divided by 3 divided by 13. कितना हो गया? 332 point. After that beta, other miscellaneous expenses. Same, divided by 3 divided by 13. 8, 4, 5, 4. Sum total of all of these expenses beta, fixed expenses 15. ये बेटा variable 15,000. Total beta 17,500 and divide this by 176 and that will be the answer. 99.51. समझ में आया बच्चों? I already told you about how to compute the amount of under or over recovery of overheads. Yes. So we will be learning this guys later in cost accounting chapter. Whenever we incur any expenditure on materials, it will be transferred to an account called as direct material account. Whenever we incur any expenditure as on wages, we transfer it to direct wages. If there's any amount of direct expenses, there is no separate ledger account created for it. It will be transferred to work in progress account. Whatever overheads that we incur as such will be transferred to an account called as factory overheads account. जो भी direct materials consume होता है, it goes to work in progress account. Whatever direct wages, obviously beta, are related to work in progress, it goes there. Overheads absorbed will go to work in progress. This is how you arrive at the entire factory cost in this work in progress account. Direct material, direct wages, direct expenses, and the amount of factory overheads absorbed. All right. Whatever is the finished product that is manufactured goes to finished goods account. Whatever is the product that is sold goes to an account called as cost of sales account. So, जो बिक गया है बेटा, it will be sitting under cost of sales account. The inventory that you still have in hand will be finished goods, or they can also be some inventory in the form of work in progress. Just remember this, all right? There can be some amount that is still lying in the form of work in progress, some amount that is lying in the form of finished goods, and some amount which is already sold by the organization. Now, the treatment of under or over recovery of overheads will depend on the reason for under or over recovery of overheads. When you talk about the accounting treatment beta for under or over recovery, it will all be on account of the reason. There can be under or over recovery on account of normal cost increase or decrease during the year. ऐसे सोचो that when you budgeted some expenditure to be X rupees, but because of the inflation out there, that expenditure became X plus 10%. But your recovery rate is still based on the original X rupees only. Recovery rate, isn't that budgeted rate? You compute recovery rate on the basis of budgeted data, guys. It is not on the basis of actuals. That means your recovery rate is based on the original rate, whereas the actual expenditure as such are already on account of higher on account of cost increase. So your under or over recovery can be on account of that, or it can be on account of something called as defective planning. If it is on account of defective planning, nothing doing, whatever is the amount of under or over recovery will be transferred to costing P&L account. But if it is on account of normal cost increase or decrease, क्योंकि एक्सपेंडिचर ही बढ़ गया है या एक्सपेंडिचर ही कम हो चुका है बेटा, दैट इज वाई 10 friends decided to go to play cricket as such beta, they've all collected 500 rupees. Remember the example? After going there, you realize that the expenditure is not 5,000, it is 6,000. This is normal cost increase. There is nothing wrong with your planning as such beta. There was no change in the production schedule. Are we understanding this? So if it is on account of normal cost increase or decrease, we compute something called as a supplementary recovery rate, also known as an additional recovery rate. Original contribution by all the 10 friends was 500 rupees per person, guys. The expenditure turns out to be 6,000. There is an under recovery of 1,000 rupees. What will be the additional recovery rate? 100 rupees. All of those 10 friends will now have to contribute an extra 100 rupees. That's your supplementary recovery rate. That is just additional recovery rate. So if my total under recovery of overheads in a year is, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, and about 40% of that is due to defective planning, that 40%, 40,000 will go and sit under costing P&L account. I am not going to go back and adjust the cost of any items. The remaining 60,000, which is on account of normal cost increase or decrease, will be adjusted to the cost of all the units that were manufactured during the year. Starting se leke abhi tak beta, you will have to transfer this to all the jobs that were manufactured during the year. But a part of it must have been already sold. This is why we say beta that a part of it will go and sit under work in progress account, a part of it will go and sit under finished goods account, a part of it will go and sit under. That's why I'm showing you this. If nothing has been sold during the year, everything is lying in the form of finished goods only, then everything will go and sit under finished goods account. If everything is lying in the form of work in progress only, everything will go and sit under work in progress account. If there is no inventory and everything has been sold, cost of sales account. So it depends on what happened to that inventory during the entire year. A major chunk of it will be under cost of sales account only, because we are talking about manufacturing that was undertaken during the entire year, guys. So obviously a majority of the inventory that was manufactured must have been already sold. If it is already sold, a part of that will go and sit under cost of sales account. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Why do we have to do this beta is that it represents correct expenditure and it should be included in the valuation of inventory. That is why if it is on account of normal cost increase or decrease, we adjust it to all the units that were manufactured during the year. If they are lying in stock, they will go and sit under finished goods account. If they have already been sold, they will go and sit under cost of sales account. This is what you should know. Are we clear about this? Yes or no, kids? समझ में आ गया है? Any doubt in this? So if it is on account of defective planning, what will you do? It should be transferred to costing P&L account. If it is on account of normal cost increase or decrease, use an additional recovery rate to adjust that to all the units that were manufactured during the year. What is more logical? If you have inventory, you should apportion. मतलब अभी जिनका accounts हो चुका है, they will know guys. वहाँ पे over recovery आ ही नहीं सकता है. Ever learned accounts? AS2 overheads में we absorb overheads on the basis of actual capacity or normal capacity, whichever is higher. There cannot be over recovery there. There will always be under recovery only. So यहाँ पे बेटा they will ask us to treat this under or over recovery of overheads based on different methods. This is the most logical method wherein we see what is the reason for under or over recovery and then do it. Or else there will always be an alternate treatment wherein we transfer the entire amount of under or over recovery to costing P&L account. Directly transfer without trying to check what is the reason for it. Are we clear? Yes or no? Now, let's say better that the amount of inventory under recovery is 1 lakh rupees. And as I told you better that 40% is due to defective planning. If 40% is due to, by default method 3 follow karte hain. If 40% is due to defective planning, what do I do with this 40,000? This will be transferred to costing P&L account going by the third method. The remaining 60% beta is due to normal cost increase or decrease. Normal cost increase or decrease. And that is 60,000. This 60,000 guys, which is on account of normal cost increase or decrease, I told you it will be adjusted to all the units that are manufactured during the year. Let's say beta that we do not have any opening stocks. ठीक है? Units manufactured guys are about 28,000. जिसमें से 25,000 are sold. सुन लो जरा. 25,000 are sold guys. 3,000 are still lying in stock. That is finished goods. इसके अलावा guys we have 4,000 work in. श्रीनिवास सुन रहा है बेटा? We have 4,000 work in progress units which are 50% complete. Every work in progress units will have something called as a degree of completion कि उसके ऊपर अभी तक काम कितना हुआ है. These 4,000 units which are 50% complete. 4,000 units 50% complete are as good as 2,000 completed units. Work in progress unit and a completed unit cannot have the same cost. If a completed unit has a cost of 100 rupees guys, a 50% completed unit will have a cost of only 50 rupees. So I cannot divide by 32,000 units. Instead you will divide by 30,000 units. Equivalent, why am I computing equivalent completed units? Equivalent completed units beta, cost per unit of work in progress cannot be the same as cost per unit of finished product. If they are the same, then it is not work in progress. So my equivalent completed units beta will be 28,000 are already completed. ये जो 4,000 completed work in progress units है beta, 4,000 work in progress units 50% complete will be equivalent to, they are the same as 2,000 completed units. Are we understanding this? So this total beta will become 30,000. Now what will be my supplementary recovery rate guys? How much is the amount on account of normal cost increase or decrease? 60,000. That 60,000 guys will now get adjusted to how many units that were manufactured during the year? 30,000. 60,000 divided by 30,000 guys, what will be my cost per unit? You will write 60,000 rupees divided by 30,000 units guys. Our equivalent cost per unit beta would be 2 rupees per unit. This will be the additional recovery rate. अब ये जो 2 rupees है बेटा, where will it get transferred? कितने units बिक चुके हैं? To the extent units are already sold, it will go and sit under cost of sales account. To the extent units are lying in stock, it will go and sit under finished goods account. To the extent units are lying as work in progress, it will go and sit under work in progress account. Total 60,000. Let's not forget 40,000 has already been transferred to P&L. That is already going to P&L account. Another 50,000 also will go to P&L account, but through cost of sales account. The only amount that is not getting transferred to P&L account but is getting carried forward to the next year is 10,000. The amount that is included in finished goods and work in progress account. ये amount अगले साल जाके P&L में जाएगा as and when the inventory is sold. But as of now it is not getting transferred to P&L account. Are you getting it, guys? They will ask a bit better. Show the profit allocation without yawning बोलेगा वो. How the profits are impacted. Ronit बोल बेटा. How will the profits be impacted? The profit under this method beta will reduce by 90,000 rupees. That is the total amount that is getting transferred to P&L account, as against method 1, under which profits will reduce by 1 lakh. The entire 1 lakh will get transferred to P&L account. So indirectly profits under this method would be higher by 10,000. Abhi bola, the amount that is getting included in the valuation of finished goods and work in progress units. Ye samajh mein aaya nahi aaya beta? Question number 24, guys. Units sold need not be only out of current year's production, it can also be out of opening stock. So you have to segregate कि कितना opening stock से बिका है, कितना current year inventory से बिका है. Only to the extent it is sold out of current year's inventory, we can transfer to cost of sales. Opening stock तो last year manufacture हुआ होगा ना. Alright guys, all of you read question number 24. XYZ Limited manufactures a single product. It recovers factory overheads at a predetermined rate of 20 rupees per man day. During the year 2020-21, the total factory overheads incurred and the man days actually worked were rupees 35.5 lakhs and 1.5 lakh days respectively. So they've given us, guys, how much are the actual overheads incurred and how many were the number of working days. Out of the amount 35.5 lakhs, 2 lakh were in respect of wages for strike period. This 2 lakh rupees, guys, in respect of strike period will anyways get transferred to P&L account, guys. It will not be included in our overhead under recovery or over recovery. 1 lakh was in respect of expenses of previous year. You almost her question में ऐसा देंगे बेटा. So this 1 lakh also, because it is a prior period expenditure, it is not in relation to current year, guys. Obviously it should not form part of current year's recovery or under recovery or over recovery. Even that will get transferred to. So though the amount is 35.5 lakhs, we are going to remove 3 lakhs out of it and consider only the balance 32.5 lakhs. What is our recovery rate given in the first sentence? 20 rupees per man day. How many hours or how many days did we work for? 1.5 lakh. 1.5 lakh days that we have worked for. Recovery rate is 20 rupees per day. What do you think will be the total overheads absorbed? 20 rupees per day multiplied by 1.5 lakh days, it will be 30 lakh rupees. Are we clear, guys? How much will be the, Harshita, right beta? How much is the amount of under recovery? Tu nahi beta, piche wo. Jijnesh ki friend. Your name is Harshita only, no? Yes beta, how much is the amount of under recovery? Oh, you want to read the question now? Smart beta. How much will be the amount of under recovery of overheads, guys? 2,50,000. How did we get 2,50,000? 32,50,000 is the actual amount incurred and overheads absorbed are how much? 30 lakhs. During the period, 50,000 units were sold. At the end of the period, but 12,000 units were completed, were held in stock. There was no opening stock of finished goods. So we sold 50,000, we still have 12,000 units in stock. How many units do you think we have manufactured? 62,000 completed units. उसके अलावा आगे देखो और there was no stock of uncompleted units at the beginning of the year, but at the end of the year there were 20,000 uncompleted units, which may be considered as 65% complete in all respects. This 20,000 work in progress units will be as good as 13,000 completed units. All right, 62,000 completed, ये 13,000 work in progress वाले total कितना हो जाएगा? 75,000 completed units. On investigation, it was found that 40% of the unabsorbed overheads was due to inefficiency. Out of 2,50,000 rupees, beta, 40% is due to inefficiency. What will you do with that 40%? By default, we follow method 3. We will transfer that entire 1 lakh rupees to costing P&L account. बचा हुआ कितना है बेटा? Out of 2,50,000 is 1 lakh beta is going to P&L account. The leftover amount is 1,50,000. This will be absorbed on the basis of number of units manufactured during the year. How many units? 75,000. 1,50,000 divided by 75,000. You're required to calculate the amount of unabsorbed overheads and show the accounting treatment of unabsorbed overheads and pass journal entries. I might give you 1 or 2 journal entries in this chapter, guys, but you will understand all of them well once we do cost accounting systems. जहाँ पे काम ही अपना सिर्फ journal entries pass करना है, ठीक है? I told you we have an accounting chapter also, guys, under cost accounts. Cost accounting systems बोल के रहेगा last में. हाँ, तो अभी के लिए बेटा I'll give you the basic entries. They're not complicated, they're easy only to understand. एक सेकंड सुन लो, बाद में कॉपी करना. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन है, overheads incurred beta that are given in the question is 35,50,000. This includes 2 abnormal items, guys, and those abnormal items that are included in this are strike period wages, which should not have been, obviously which will not be budgeted. The amount is 2 lakh rupees, and then beta there is prior period expenditure or previous period expenditure included in the current period. How much is that? Both of these expenses, guys, obviously will get transferred to what? Costing P&L account. So the actual overheads to be considered as such beta will only be 32,50,000. This will be the amount that we will have to consider. The amount of overheads absorbed, the question says that we are absorbing overheads at the rate of 20 rupees per man day. So 20 rupees per man per day multiplied by how many working days, guys? 1,50,000 man days. You will cancel those 1,50,000 man days as such beta. You will be left with 30 lakhs. How much will be the amount of under recovery of overheads? Under recovery of overheads is 2,50,000. ये 2,50,000 में 2 parts है बेटा. 40% is due to inefficiency. This 40% due to inefficiency is such beta, that is 1 lakh, will get transferred to costing P&L account. ये question बोल रहा है बेटा, मैं नहीं. The remaining 60% beta it says is due to, वो देखो, normal increase in cost. The cost of indirect materials and indirect labor has increased during the year beta, because of which there was under recovery of overheads. That 60% is 1,50,000. This will be adjusted to what? Adjusted to units manufactured during the year using a supplementary rate. Are we clear about this? Now we will have to talk about how many units were manufactured during the year. As far as completed units are concerned, guys, the question says 50,000 were sold, and how many are still lying in stock? 12,000 is finished goods ka stock. This is completed units. Work in progress beta, question says we have 20,000 units which are 65% complete. So they will be as good as what? They will be same as 13,000 equivalent completed units. The total equivalent units beta would be 70. Now what will be your supplementary rate per unit? Supplementary rate, guys, overhead recovery rate would be 1,50,000 divided by 75,000, and that is 2 rupees per unit. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? Once we get that supplementary rate per unit, guys, you know how much will be transferred better. Cost of sales account में कितना transfer करूँ? 50,000 into 2, guys, and that will be how much will be transferred to finished goods account? 12,000 multiplied by 2 beta, 24,000, and how much will be transferred to work in progress account? 13,000 into 2, guys. Smart beta. Overhead, guys, is it an expenditure account, income account, asset account, liability account? Expenditure. Will these have debit balances or credit balances? Whenever you incur anything, guys, you will dump it to that account. Yes or no? There is an under recovery, मतलब वो account से बाहर नहीं आया है थोड़ा पैसा. I will have to credit factory overhead. We add the word control better. I will teach you these journal entries detail में later. Why am I crediting this? Whenever we have incurred expenditure, we first debit it to that account. Later, when it gets transferred to some other account, it will get credited. Like you write salaries to bank and then you write P&L to salaries. All right. So it's like that. How much are we directly transferring to costing P&L account beta? 1 lakh. I'll write costing P&L account debit 1 lakh. How much are we transferring to cost of sales account? Cost of sales account ko beta I'll transfer 1 lakh. How much are we getting transferring to finished goods control account? 24,000. And work in progress control account. This will be the journal entry, guys, for addressing that under recovery of overheads. समझ में आ रहा है क्या बोल रहा हूँ मैं? Yes or no, guys? We are removing it from factory overhead account and dumping to all of these accounts. Over recovery अगर है समझो उल्टा entry रहता. Are we understanding this? Please visualize like this बेटा. Factory overheads जो भी रहता है, all the expenses incurred will get debited here. Throughout the year, you will keep absorbing overheads by transferring it to work in progress account. If this is less, there is under recovery. वो under recovery में अभी पढ़ाया क्या करना है बोल के. A part of it went to costing P&L. A part of it went to cost of sales account. A part of it went to finished goods account. A part of it went to. Are we understanding this? ये अकाउंट अभी बनाओ मत, बस बोल रहा हूँ. समझ में आया नहीं आया? Method 1 and 3 बेटा correct. You don't term it as method 1 and 3. Just write under one method transfer everything to P&L account. Under the other method assume everything is on account of normal cost increase and adjust to those units. Correct. 4,08,000 beta. How much is your overheads absorbed? Yes sir. नहीं क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा हूँ क्या है रे लोग. Yes sir. 43,000 into 8. 44,000. How much is the amount of under recovery? Guys, stop talking. Under recovery 64 बेटा. ये 64 में कितना डिफेक्टिव है? हाँ? 20% बेटा defective planning, and that will go to 12,800 beta will go to costing P&L account. The remaining 80% beta 51,200 is due to normal cost increase. This normal cost increase के लिए beta you will have to compute supplementary rate. Yes or no? And that supplementary rate beta would be 51,200 divided by 18,000 units were completed and another 18,000 plus 2,000, 5,000 units, 40% complete. So the rate will be 2.56. Supplementary rate per unit is 2.56. Using the supplementary rate of 2.56 beta, you're going to arrive at the cost allocation. You will write 2.56 multiplied by 10,000. This will be transferred to cost of sales. Do not write like this, but write proper answers, okay? This is just to verify. 2.56 is the supplementary rate per unit. 2.56 multiplied by 10,000 will get transferred to cost of sales into 8,000 will get transferred to finished goods account, and into 2,000 beta will go to work in progress account. That's the answer for question number 28. 35th question, guys, is in relation to different types of capacities in a plant as such. Better, we have something called as rated capacity, practical capacity, normal capacity, and actual capacity. The word rated capacity, guys, means maximum possible capacity for which a plant can be used. कितने दिन बाद में आ रही है? तबीयत खराब थी. The word rated capacity better would mean that the maximum possible capacity at which an organization can operate without even considering any amount of holidays as such, guys, or without considering any normal losses. If you do not consider anything at all as such better, what is the amount of capacity at which an organization can operate is called as rated capacity. Never possible to operate at rated capacity. For any organization, it is not possible to operate at rated capacity. Are we clear? For equipment, guys, efficiency, we measure something called as OEE, overall equipment effectiveness. तुमको कोई concept नहीं है, but then they will see for how many hours did you use the machine for the product that was manufactured, how efficient was it, and how many defectives are manufactured. वो तीनों लेके they will try to measure in real life whether we are effectively utilizing the equipment or not. Organizations have an efficiency ratio of only and only 85 to 90 on a higher end. If the organizations are performing way too well, efficiency ratios would be between 85% to 90%. Otherwise, no better. Are we all clear about this? So, यहाँ पे बेटा rated capacity is that. Practical capacity as such बेटा considers all the amount of normal losses into consideration. The manufacturer claims that you will be able to manufacture, let's say better 1 crore units by continuously using the equipment as such better forever. But you know that there will be some holidays as such, guys. Let's say better that I can take classes for 12 hours every day as such, guys, for 30 days a month. That will become what? Rated. I can take 15 hours also, guys. I used to do that as such better. Prior to 2020, guys, COVID, my timings of classes used to be from 6:15 to 9:30 in the night. Yeah, not the same students, of course. There used to be multiple other batches that I had to take as such better. And I did that comfortably for only 9 years continuously. And my Sundays timings used to be morning 7 till 3 o'clock. Every Sunday. Yes, better. Now, guys, back. So that is what? Rated capacity. Practical capacity on the other side as such better is realizing that the machine is getting, no, the human being is getting old as such, guys, here. समझ में आ गया ना सबको? Next बेटा, normal capacity and actual capacity. What do you think will be normal capacity? ये मत बोलना, normally बोल के. Sir, let's say guys you can study for 16 hours a day, rated capacity. Let's be practical. It's difficult to pull in more than 15 hours a day of rest. Huh? It's difficult to study for more than 15 hours a day. That will become what better? Practical capacity. For most of us, normal capacity, guys, might be 5 minutes. Normally, better we study for 5 minutes a week. Yes or no? So, guys, normal capacity, guys, is the capacity utilization that the organization is targeting or has achieved over a normal scenario in the past. Actual capacity is actual capacity. Are we clear about this? So, these are the meanings of the words. I'll give you the definitions here only. We'll write it here itself. लिखो बेटा. पहले question पढ़ लेते हैं. A machine was purchased from a backbenches. अगर नीचे का screen नहीं दिख रहा है तो कुछ नहीं कर सकता बेटा, वो बाद में check करेंगे. A machine was purchased from a manufacturer who claimed that his machine could produce 36.5 tons in a year consisting of 365 holidays. What will be 36.5? Rated capacity. Holidays breakdowns were normally allowed in the factory for 65 days, guys. So if you remove those 65 days from 365 days, the organization would be working only for, if an organization is working for 300 days, guys, if 36.5 tons is the capacity utilization that can be achieved over a period of 365 days, what is the capacity utilization over 300 days? 30 beta exact. 36.5 divided by 365 into 300. शक्ल बना रहे हैं सब लोग, ऐसे कैसे रॉन्ग बोल रहा बोल के, not my friend बोल के. हाँ. So 30 tons would be your practical capacity. Next, sales were expected to be 25 tons during the year and the plant actually produced 25.2. Actually speaking, that is not normal beta. Normal should be based on what you've achieved in the past also. Sales were expected to be 25 अगर बोल रहा है, we can assume that the company budgeted to also produce 25 tons. But that is not normal capacity as such, guys. Normal capacity is what the organization has achieved over a longer period. Actual capacity beta will be 25.2 tons. Are we clear about this? Yes or no beta? 2 tons. इसके अलावा बेटा there are two more things that were not asked here. There's something called as normal idle capacity and abnormal idle capacity. Normal idle capacity, guys, would be the difference between normal idle capacity, rated capacity, guys, that is maximum possible, and normal capacity. इन दोनों का difference, guys, is going to be your normal capacity, normal idle time, undoubtedly. समझ में आ रहा है क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Abnormal idle capacity as such, beta, on the other hand, would be the difference between normal capacity and actual capacity. You cannot include abnormal idle time again. Sorry, normal idle time beta again. समझ में आ रहा है नहीं आ रहा है? अपने केस में बेटा abnormal idle capacity is negative because the actual utilization has been more than the normal utilization. Normally capacity is only 25 tons beta and maximum capacity, actual capacity is 25.2. So abnormal negative हो जाएगा. Otherwise beta, if actual capacity utilization is less than normal also, that excess will be considered as abnormal idle time. Are we clear? ठीक है. Alright guys, so we are done with this chapter as well, overheads. There's a little about administrative overheads and selling and distribution overheads, guys. I will be covering that along with cost sheet. यहाँ पे कुछ काम का नहीं है, but in the beginning, guys, I already gave you a list of few expenses. उसका accounting treatment कैसे, how are we going to charge to different products? We are anyways going to learn in a detailed manner under activity-based costing as well as cost sheet कि कैसे include करना है. Are we clear, guys?